let's in fact, press that point further and get in one more view. Harshit Kapadia, who tracks defense stocks and companies very carefully, is now joining in with some thoughts as well. The news flow, of course, as we've been telling you, is this big order win. Over 150, I think 156 is the total count of the light combat aircraft Prachand, that is the helicopter. And they will be supplying it both to the Indian Army as well as the Indian Air Force. So the news flow is fantastic. Obviously, it's a moment of pride, fully indigenous, etc., part of the Make in India drive. But Harshit, the question is that with these kind of massive orders, the headline announcement is fantastic. Now, what is the kind of revenue growth, EPS growth, the execution that you are factoring in for HAL, say in FY26, FY27?
Morning. So with the order book of close to now 2 lakh crores, we are factoring in close to a revenue CAGR of close to around 15% and an earnings CAGR of around 17% for Hindustan Aeronautics at this point in time. We have 3 major orders delivery which will happen starting from next year as in FY26. Which is LCA Mark 1A. There is also Su-30. There are engines which will also get delivered. So these all things are coming to, in a single year. So that will see, the execution being sharp. And capacity, as you mentioned, capacity is right now at around 24 numbers for LCA Tejas. As far as for helicopters, which is Prachanda, they have around 60 numbers, and they will be soon expanding it to 90 numbers per annum.
Harshit, good morning. These orders, were you factoring this in? Were they part of your estimates?
So I was factoring in Prachanda in FY26. It just came a day earlier, that is in FY25. So no material change as far as estimates are concerned. We have been looking at these numbers from last 1 year back, but it has been only delayed because of engines for certain things on LCA specifically. That has been the only change.
And what's your price target valuations on HAL?
So on valuation, definitely if you see the peak has been close to around 40-45 times when the capex cycle was up. Last 6 months, the stock has corrected. Right now, it's around 35 times on my FY27 estimates. If I add this, and I'm building in an EBITDA margin of very conservative around 24 to 25, it can even touch 26% given the execution ramp up will happen. They will get an operating leverage benefit. So there could be some upside to my earnings estimate, maybe another 10% on the earnings side, which could add.
What is the current target price you have?
Sorry?
Harshit, your current target price, what is it on HAL? And if you could tell us, what is the order inflow you're working with for FY26?
So my current target price is 5160 for Hindustan Aeronautics. I am looking at an order inflow of close to around 80,000 crores in FY26 with one large order for LCA Tejas Mark 1. Additional 97 numbers may come up in first half of FY26.
Okay, so target price is 5,160. You mentioned possible margin expansion as execution ramps up. The top line you told us, 15% CAGR, EPS growth about 17% CAGR. What would that expansion be? I'm not quite sure about the last, the Q3 margin. But if the margin goes up to 26%, that's an expansion of how many basis points? 150, how much would it be?
For me, it is 150 basis points.
So 150 bips expansion in margin is possible by FY27 or FY26 itself?
FY27.
Okay. Final question, 35 times, that's where the stock is right now. With the kind of metrics that you described, top line margin, EPS, you think this is still sort of best case valuation considering defense stocks have not really been too cheap in the last couple of years?
No, I think there is still a room for expansion because the pipeline is getting much stronger. In FY26, another 80,000 crore. FY25, we have seen close to a lakh crore kind of an order inflow. So in FY26 end, we'll see order book of 2.5 lakh crore. That's the number that we are looking at. So that could be a huge multiplier effect, and all things are getting gathered till FY30. So the execution will continue to even go at 15% till FY30. So that will demand you to raise your earnings multiple, which can even touch to 40 times.
You know, I just want to say one thing. Defense absolutely a fantastic area. Spending, etc., is going to be high. HAL within defense is top tier. There's
Top
no
of the
question
line,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I think as a market, we are no longer in a stock goes up because there is an order announcement.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is
Which is
more,
why I was quizzing on the metrics on the
that
execution.
market is behind us. I think that market is now it is about execution, and I think as both Amnish and Harshit also said, pipeline is going to be bulging, but how much can they really execute and churn out those planes, etc. We'll have to watch out for. Harshit, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure and good conversation coming through on HAL and of course the defense pack.